Hey, happy Friday. How are you? Welcome again. Happy to have you here. We got a good turnout again. I'm very excited about that. People are still piling in, so I'm going to burn about a minute here. Did you guys give me a high five if you attend thanks, Kent. If you attend well, give me a high five if you can hear me. I know I always do that, so there we go. Perfect. Okay, let's put them back down again. Did you guys attend the town hall meeting yesterday? I don't know if everybody here makes it to that or not. I was there live and it was pretty good. We had a packed house of folks from operations in the room and they were pretty enthusiastic. They're powering their way through a total changeover. You think changing from DocuSign to Spring CM was a lot. These guys are changing all the different systems being used for everything from management to maintenance to accounting are all being folded into one system, and but they're excited about it. It's hard, but they know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So that was pretty cool. um, I opened up with a dad joke yesterday because I wanted to warm the crowd up. So I'm going to do the same thing. It's still Father's Day month, and so the joke for today is: Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? The food's pretty good, but there's no atmosphere. Who says you have to be dirty to be a good comedian? Anyhow, most everybody I think is here, so let's get going. Um, we're going almost straight into success stories today. I've got a couple of minutes of monologue to share with you, and then we've got Mark Hansen, our sales director in the flagship office in Minneapolis, who's going to share some of the success. He's got no shortage of it up there right now, and he's a very ingenious guy, and his team is very adoptive and enthusiastic about trying the things that he suggests, and they're getting great results. So he's going to jump in as a special co-host. And I know we have a couple of people. I'm asking everybody now. I know a couple of folks in Chicago have already indicated their enthusiasm for chiming in today and sharing some of the success. It seems to be happening all over the country. People are doing things that they had not done before, and it's working, right? And that's what is so exciting about this for me is that I've been involved in sales organizations before where there was so much competition and it was so cutthroat and the message was so much the same as everybody else's. And I ran a traditional real estate company. We grew to about 1,000 agents, and we were good, but we weren't different, right? We were a real estate company, and we tried very hard to demonstrate that we worked harder, worked smarter, presented ourselves better. But at the end of the day, we were the same. And so then I was always driving and encouraging people to go out and start having conversations, but there was nothing unique about the conversations, and that was painful. Our situation is different, which makes it so exciting, and it's great because what it means is that rejection, which is the thing that keeps salespeople from reaching out, is not as much of a factor for us. Okay, you're not going to get people slamming doors in your face when you're saying something they haven't heard before. So that's exciting. So we're going to get into that in a moment. And again, if anybody here, if you're somebody who's got something to share, you got to share it. Please, I mean, I come out here until I'm blue in the face every Friday, and it really means a lot to me and everybody else for them to be able to hear from you and for me to hear from you to know that what we're trying to do here is actually making a difference. I wanted to revisit two slides from last week when I went through our recruiting presentation, and I was sort of like recruiting you to be the new thing, the real estate investment advisor, or our branded version of that is the rent estate advisor, and how cool you are for being that, right? And how different that makes you and exciting that makes you, and how cool you'll sound at the barbecue when people say, "What do you do?" And I wanted to revisit this because I really like the way this rolled, is that a real estate advisor is a specialist who represents their market and the houses in the market as an investment vehicle. That's really cool. The jumping off point of that conversation is like, well, what do you mean? Well, Tampa is a great city that people who live here really love it. And there's all this inbound migration that everybody knows about. Like you can't get from point A to point B without sitting in traffic sometimes because it's so darn popular. The city is built right into the bay or around the bay. There's so much waterfront. It's an amazing place. The climate is gorgeous. It's a city of industry. It's not some sleepy bedroom community for snowbirds. Like it's Tampa. I represent Tampa. huh, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Right? And like, of course, you fit in your city. Everybody's got a city that you love. You live there. The people that live there should love it too. And so the idea is that the city is an investment. Like you could buy it. Is Tampa awesome? Yeah. The fact that you can buy Tampa, you can own Tampa. Like I think that's as cool as owning Apple stock. I think it's cooler than owning Apple stock. In fact, I know that it is. People get the idea that owning companies they love is a really cool idea, but owning a place that you love is even cooler. And the houses are an instrument through which you take a position in the place. Real estate, location, location, location. The first rule of real estate, ask 10 people, they'll all say, you say, what's the first rule of real estate? Location, 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 right? And so that's what we're all about. Tampa is an awesome spot. You can own it. You should own it. It's amazing that you can, and so therefore you absolutely should. And the houses are the vehicle, the instrument, the dollar bill, the coin, the share of stock, whatever you want to call it, the instrument through which you can get in, and you're buying essentially the greatness of the market, because if it's great, it attracts people. People want to live indoors. We sell the house that they live in to investors who then rent it out. You're a professional, okay? You're a professional. This is not some, brown shoe, half-assed used car salesman profession that some people think that real estate is. This is financial services. You're a professional who help people secure their future. Financial peace of mind. I like that term, peace of mind, better than wealth, because it's, I've always been about as a consumer, I've always responded to when instead of telling me what it is, they tell me what it feels like to me. Does that make sense? Financial, like wealth is a thing. Peace of mind is a feeling, right? And when you have it, you know it, and you sleep better, and you smile more, and you don't have lurking stresses weighing you down. And we're giving that to people by helping them do what we do here, right? Let me touch on that for a second, because the idea of the experience of what does it feel like I called my company Own America, because the experience is not Investorama. The experience is owning the country. And when you actually get your brain into that place, you're like, wow, that's actually awesome. And my favorite example of all time was Yahoo, the website, which if you're young, you look at it as kind of like an old dinosaur. But back in the early days of the internet in the 1990s, I was in the business world at that time. And Yahoo was an absolute monster, right? It was knocking everybody out of the way. It was the browser, sorry, not the browser, the search engine that was just creating the new category of search engines, and it was a monster. And it had competition like InfoSeek and other competitors whose names were merely descriptive, right? They described what they were: Seek Info, InfoSeek. Yahoo came along, and what I thought was so cool about them is that Yahoo is, in fact, I don't call it Yahoo, I call it Yahoo, right? I'm a Southerner now. It's Yahoo. My brothers make fun of me. They're fancy Northerners. All right. Yahoo is the noise that you make when you go down a water slide, right? Like that's Yahoo. It's involuntary. It's an expulsion of joy. Yahoo. What Yahoo did was they didn't focus on the web. They focused on surfing. Surfing the web, to them, the surfing was the thing. All right. It wasn't browsing the web. It wasn't searching the web. It was surfing the web. That's what we talked about back in the day. And so I loved that. That was the experience. It's not looking for information and seeking information. It was getting yourself lost in a universe of possibilities, right? So you're helping people secure financial peace of mind, which is a feeling that matters. You're an entrepreneur, okay? I think being an entrepreneur is the coolest thing to be. The world agrees with me now. You've got young people in your life who are going to watch you do this, right? And what you're going to have shown them as you succeed is that you're going to say, me, with my brain and my two hands and my voice and my actions, I built something out of thin air, and I own it. It's mine, okay? And it's good. It helps people, and it helps me, and it helps us as a family, right? One of my favorite things in the world. I have a lot of favorite things in the world. I realize I'm always saying one of my favorite things. There's a lot of them. One of them is I've been really blessed that it turns out a lot of the young people in my life, not just my kids, that's obvious, but also nieces, nephews, friends, children of friends who, like, I got a thing from my friend who said, this was my son's letter that he wrote, his essay that he wrote to get into college. And it was about me, right? And it was about what he learned from watching me. Who the hell knew he was even watching me? Apparently I've been talking business at barbecues my whole life. I'm that guy, right? But what he learned from me was that work is not work if you love what you do, which is a great lesson to learn. And he learned it because apparently when I talked about my business over the years, I made it seem like fun. It wasn't like I was talking about my job, right? I was talking about a passion. This is not the only person who I've gotten this feedback from now. And it makes me feel really, really great to have been a beacon to these kids that what they learned was nothing about real estate. What they learned was all they know is that that guy likes what he does Monday to Friday. Okay. And a lot of times on weekends. So being an entrepreneur in front of people, in front of young people, inspiring them to believe. My mom, a lot of you guys met my mom. She came on the webinar a couple of months ago. I'll say a little prayer for her. She's not feeling good right now. But she was a stay-at-home mom who then became a real estate agent, who then became a manager of a real estate office, who then became the owner of that real estate office, who then became the owner of a powder keg of a real estate company in Rockland County, New York, that I then took over with my brothers in the late 90s. We blew it out. But she created the powder keg to light we lit the fuse, right? So we watched her do it. Didn't know what the heck I was watching. I just watched her do it, and everything she did, it wasn't always easy, but she always seemed to climb, right? And so what was my conclusion after watching that as a kid and as a young adult? It's like, it's doable, right? It's not impossible. I just watched it happen, right? Entrepreneur in public, right? You're building a book of business based upon knowledge and skills that are rare in the marketplace. That makes you important. And then you're an investor yourself. So your money is where your mouth is, right? One of the things we're going to be asking you guys to do as you get your income increasing, like I don't know how much each of you made. I know I have a report, but whatever amount of money you made in 2018 and then 19, I want to see you increase it by 50% in 2020. Okay, 50%. That's a big increase. How can you do a big increase? Because we're getting our mojo going here to go out and get more customers. We're doing things that are working to get more customers. You're going to get more customers. You're going to expand your customer relationship to include selling them property when you're ready to start doing that, right? And as I've said all along, that when I first saw this opportunity at Renters Warehouse for me, and they said, you want to be at the, in front of our sales organization, I said, yeah. And it was like, the opportunity was so crystal clear to me because it was like we had a national chain of restaurants that only served dinner. They wanted to expand. Like if you owned a restaurant and you only served dinner and you wanted to increase your income, you could just open for lunch and breakfast, right? Same forks, knives, spoons, same tables. Don't change your menu. Don't redecorate your restaurant. Open for lunch. Increase your income by 50% just by selling something different, selling something more. In the same 50-hour work week, you can make more money just by expanding the depth of your relationship with your customers, right? And then when you do that, if you can carve out some proportion of that new income into a side account for your own SFR portfolio, well then long-term, that's a life changer for you as well. All right. All right. And then who is our customer? I want to reinforce this because we're meeting more and more of these people anew. You've got customers. We want you talking to them. All right. Asking them about their plans and remembering that it's a blessing to have customers that are high net worth people, people of means, people who work hard enough or are smart enough or both that they have money and they have plans. So folks that own businesses, that work in businesses, that are doctors and lawyers, high net worth people, that's who you're going to be targeting and spending your time servicing, right? That's good. Okay, young people with big plans, that's always good. Repeat customers who buy multiple properties, investors diversifying their retirement portfolios. What a great conversation. Are you all in the stock market? Most people are. Or they're in cash, they're in savings because they're afraid of the stock market. There's a better way, right? Diversifying, optimistic people, thoughtful and engaged people, people that want to talk to you about Tampa or wherever you are. They want to talk about building wealth for peace of mind. They want to think about it. They want to strategize about it. They want to have an active role. They want to have an engaged brain, but hands off. Like brain on, hands off, right? I want to be involved. I don't want total passive. I want to be passive on the annoying stuff that our wonderful folks in operations handle. Anyway, good stuff. That reminds me, before I turn the corner, I was in Minnesota all week. I love being out there. I get a chance to get a lot done because I can see a lot of people face to face that I normally only see via go-to meeting and things like that. I asked your sales directors midweek to please send me a list of any properties that you are, that either they, your sales director, or you, the advisor, any properties that you're involved in right now over a maintenance issue. Something went wrong on maintenance. That's not our responsibility. I mean, there are some things related to inspections and stuff like that that we do, right? But there are midterm maintenance issues. You know, like David Summer said yesterday on the meeting, on the town hall, very funny. He said, like, every air conditioner in America has broken this week, right? So that's the world they're in. I know that you folks get pulled into that. And what I'm going to tell you is that you can't let yourself get pulled into that stuff. They don't want you to get pulled in. Now, I fully understand. We had a guy walk in here in the Charlotte office. I'm co-locating with Danny and our Charlotte team here. And I had somebody walk in, and they told me they were calling the police at the office because we have a shared office with a lot of other tenants. And this guy was really angry. And they called the cops. I said, well, let me get out there and see if I can diffuse the situation. Because I don't want the cops to come. I don't want the neighbors in the building to think that we're like some kind of screwy organization that attracts dangerous characters. So I went, and guy calmed down pretty quickly. And we sat down and talked, and it was an air conditioning thing that had been broken. All right. And here was the scenario. I'm sure this sounds familiar. He called to get it fixed. Our maintenance team, who did a great job, got right on it, called the owner. The owner declined to fix it. I'm sorry. Called to get it fixed, called the vendor. Vendor went out for $100, diagnosed the problem, $500 repair, called the owner. Owner said no. 2 days have already gone by. The guy is frying in a heat wave, right? The tenant. Owner comes back, we're not going to fix it. Tenant gets the word, tenant's like, that's crazy. It doesn't work. My air conditioning doesn't work. How can the owner say he's not going to fix it? He calls again, maintenance calls again. Maintenance talks the owner into approving. They send the vendor out. In the time that it took to call the owner and get the approval the second time, the tenant took matters into his own hands, and he went and called a local AC company to come out and fix his AC. But they didn't fix it. They Band-Aided it. They gave it a shot of Freon. So we got air conditioning for 2 days. That 2-day period is exactly when the vendor from our group, our vendor, went back out again, contacted him and said, hey, we got the approval. We're going to come fix your AC. And what did he do? Knucklehead said, nope, no need. I didn't need your help. I took care of it myself. Screw you, whatever, right? And then, of course, a day later, it broke again. So now the vendor has been out once. Owner said no. Vendor went out a second time. Tenant already had it Band-Aided. Got turned away. Now we're like 11 days or so, 9 days into this ordeal. The vendor is frustrated. I got involved now, so I'm raising all kinds of alarms because I don't get involved in this stuff. So I was trying to flex my muscles as the chief strategy officer and say, we're going to get this shit done, right? Vendor got frustrated. We may have fired the vendor because I told him either to get this shit fixed today or like I'm going to find somebody new. This is my hometown here. My friends and contacts are becoming customers. I don't want to hear about, well, we went to the tenant and the tenant said that they didn't want our help and so we're not responsible. It's like there was this whole, now our person in operations, I read the thread. That person was super diligent, okay? I was seeing notes, emails that were attached in Salesforce saying, hey, vendor, just checking in. I contacted you 3 o'clock yesterday that the tenant is ready now for you to get out there. It's now 9 a.m. the next morning, just checking in. Hours later, I see another note. Hey, I hadn't heard back from you. It's 3 p.m. now. Now it's 24 hours since, right? It's 3 p.m. Can you let me know how things are going? Then the response came back, you have to give us a new work order because we closed out that work order when the tenant declined service. And so now that's nonsense, right? The idea of I'm going to hide behind a policy protocol of you have to cancel the work order. That's when I jumped in and said, consider this email to be a work order. Go fix the air conditioning, please. The guy's cooking in his office, in his house. Point is, our person did the right thing. Our process is complex. We have multiple stakeholders, multiple people involved. Our person did the right thing. I got pulled in by the tenant, all right? That happens to you every day. Dave Gorham, yes, welcome to property management. I get it, okay? But what I'm telling you guys is it's not your job and you can't do it. It's not your job and you can't do it. Okay, you have to resist getting pulled in. The sales directors sent me lists, most of them. Those of you who didn't, I'm assuming that your maintenance is perfect and we're not going to put any pressure. But I got lists of 5 properties long, 3 properties long, 9 properties long, all of which are properties that you're engaged in a maintenance issue right now that you shouldn't be engaged in, but you're doing it because A, the customers involved you and you're trying to do a good job and you want to keep them. B, I believe there's a certain level of learned helplessness that you can't tell somebody, well, call the 800 number for maintenance. They say, I did 3 days ago and I did again 2 days ago and nobody's gotten back to me. Then you're like, okay, I'm not going to be the person who tells you go away, right? Our maintenance department are good people. They're hardworking people. They have lousy systems that are being replaced, but it's their job. It's not yours, okay? I have told the regional vice presidents of operations that I'm this close to giving out their cell phone numbers and home addresses to everybody in the organization, that they are not allowed to hide behind an 800 number anymore because we can't. So you call a toll-free number and you don't get a response and they go looking for their sales director or their advisor, somebody in the local office, and you get pulled in. You need to pick up the phone when you're talking to the customer, call the people in maintenance, and then call them again and say, look, I am busy finding customers and I'm trying to keep this one, and you have to just push it off. And so I'm going to ask, I don't know where we're going to go with this right now, but I wanted to tell you that I really, really, really want to get, like I told, and I'm very good friends with David Summer, the head of operations, and I laughingly told him, hey, how you doing on your lead conversion? He said, what? Yeah, lead conversion. You know, can I send you guys some leads to convert? And I said, hey, how about recruiting? You got any leads on recruiting? It's like, what are you talking about? I said, exactly. It's absurd, right? That's my department. That's my department. Nobody's asking anybody in operations to go convert a lead. Nobody's asking them to go find a recruit. Nobody's asking them to help train an agent. We're taking care of our side. We need them to take care of their side. So there are reasons why you get pulled in. What I'm telling you is that I'm not asking for you to like save yourself the trouble. I'm saying it is not your job. Think of us as an auto dealership, the finest auto dealership that ever was. We're in the front. When somebody comes in and buys a car, our job is essentially done. When they come back to get the oil change, that happens over there. We don't do that. If they go get the oil change and they're like, listen, I got the oil change and they didn't put the cap back on again. You say, follow me. You walk back there and say, this guy's oil cap wasn't put back on again. And you go back to the front and try to find the next customer. You have to be disciplined. So much so, and here's a crazy statement that I really want you to internalize. If we lose a customer as a company because they dropped the ball in maintenance, you need to go get another customer. So just start working on that now. All right? Saving doors is good. It's important. It's not your job. Okay? And to the extent that you're doing somebody else's job, it's giving them the ability not to do that job. So the pressure's got to go back to where it belongs. We're all one team, right? I can analogize all day long. We're all one team. We've got our role. We have to do our role. Everybody is very quick to point out if we're not doing our role, all right? And if you're doing somebody else's role and not doing yours, that's no excuse for us. We have to deliver the numbers. Everybody in this organization gets paid because we do our part. We have to do our part. Can't do theirs. Okay, enough said. Let me, let's see. Would love fridge magnets. Oh, Peter. Would love fridge magnets we can leave after move-in. That says what? Don't call me. Fridge magnets with the 800 number? It's not a bad idea, Peter. How do we pass off maintenance failures? Who do we give them to and have confidence it will be addressed without babysitting the ticket? That's a great question. I'm going to put everybody's hands down. Sales director, who wants to answer that question for Jesse Williams. How do we pass off a maintenance failure? Who do we give them to and have confidence it's going to be addressed? Who wants to answer that before I do? Who's closer to it? All right. Dave Gorham raises. Dave Gorham's hand is going like this. He wants to answer this. What's up, Dave? Dave, can you hear me? I think you might be muted on your side or something. I see you as being unmuted, but All right, you're muted on your end or something's wrong with
How about that?
GoToMeeting. Oh, there you are. Hey, what's
Better?
up?
Yeah, good.
So what do you do? What do you do if you're an advisor who's getting sucked in, and how do you pass it off with
Yeah,
confidence?
so one of the tactics, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. So one of the tactics that I've employed, just kind of like it's a little bit of cross training and getting local and corporate to be a little bit more involved. But with the tickets on Zoho, so all maintenance is actually tracked on Zoho. So I tailored two different emails and gave them to my advisors that have basically just a message to the tenant or to the owner saying, "Hey, thanks very much. I'm going to push this over to who it needs to be, who needs to be handling it, and we'll send it to a specific person in maintenance plus through Zoho, which creates a second ticket." So from an annoyance standpoint from corporate, it creates a second ticket. Now they got to figure that out. Now it kind of raises a flag. They got to go out and close that second ticket to move it forward. So I know I'm getting the attention that it needs at maintenance. And it's not that they're not doing a good job. It's some things like you figured out in this last example. Some things do fall through the cracks. So my advisors know to actually be pleasant. It's kind of like your car dealer story. Be very pleasant, make sure that they know the process, but then actually push the process along through that one email, which then creates that ticket to track.
Good. Okay, I think that everybody probably understands what you mean more than I do because I'm still the new guy around here when it comes to this issue. Do me a favor, Dave. Can you give me like bullet points in an email that I can share?
Yes.
All right, you're the best. Thank you. All right, so Jerry Whitage from Tampa, I think you're talking about the magnets when you said we have them, they don't work. I hope so. You're saying they don't stick on, or they stick, but people don't make the phone call. I know you're having some challenges, Jerry. So here's the deal. It appears that agents don't have access to Zoho, but the point here is that sales directors do. And the idea is that we have to push it back. And it's okay. Remember what I told you all to do when you get a lead and the phone rings and you call them back and they don't pick up, and I say, give it 20 minutes, call them back again. Give it an hour, call it back again. Make it a high priority today to call them until they pick up. It sends them a message. What's the message? Listen, you call me, I'm just calling you back. So I don't consider myself being a pest, all right? I'm following through on what you started, Mr. Customer. They also know that if they don't pick up the damn phone, you're not going to stop. So like you're in the process of becoming an annoyance, but they're the ones that ask for it, all right? If we have to become an annoyance to operations, that's the game we have to play, all right? So like call the 800 number, call it again, call it again, call it again, do what it takes. I know, here's what I know. They're working very hard, okay? I witnessed it when I'm out there. That example that I gave is a great example because our person was doing a great job. It is a complex process. And the reason why I got upset, I only got upset at one moment. I got upset when the vendor copped an attitude. Like we're all not supposed to be trying our hardest. Like a vendor who's in the air conditioning business, I know it's July. I know every air conditioning in America is breaking. I didn't tell you to get into the air conditioning business. I don't want to hear any complaints about, oh, I'm in the air conditioning business, so I'm going to be bitchy because like everybody's calling me. Sorry. It's like an accountant bitching on April 14th. Live with the choices you made, right? So anyhow, just here's what I guess. Let me put a cap on it this way. Some of you are doing a beautiful job, a diligent job. You're picking up a lot of slack on some of these maintenance things, and you're giving somebody very, very good customer service. What I'm telling you right now is I need you to stop doing that anyway, because you can't sell, you can't increase your income. You are not on salary. The people whose jobs the people whose jobs this is are getting paid a salary to do it. You're not being paid a nickel to do it. You just can't do it. Okay? And if you feel like there's no point in throwing it back to maintenance because it's just easier to handle it yourself, you're not going to be able to expand your business if you're busy doing somebody else's job. Period. End of conversation, right? So you got to find a way to do it. Most branches have a dedicated property management person in the office. Okay, I met a lot of those folks, terrific people. They want to do a good job, bring it to them. If for some reason you hear the words, it's not my job, raise the alarm, okay? Talk to the sales director, talk to me. If property management employee tells you it's definitely not your job. So if their job has a very specific list of things they do as property management employees, and running down maintenance tickets is not one of them, it's a hell of a lot closer to their job than it is ours. It isn't even in our department. All right, so that's the person who's your go-to. If they're not getting it done, you're going to go to the VP of the region. Okay, the VPs of the region are going to be the ones who are going to have their emails and their voicemails filled up with maintenance requests, and they can fix the systems on their side. They've got new technology. It's going to get better. But the point is that I'm not asking any of those folks. They're at my level, and Seth and Kent and Bob's level. David's at my level. We're all senior managers in all this thing. We want to be the ones that are on the front lines. We are the kind of leaders that want to carry a spear right up there with all the rest of you. We're not fancy. We're not too important. I want to know. All right. So let's figure this thing out together. We're all on the same team, but it's only fair. If I'm asking you all to sell, it's also up to me to pull some work off of your plate that's not supposed to be done by you. All right. Can I get a high five if that makes sense to you? Can I get an amen? I'm getting some flashes. We got a new thing here. People are like, yes, yes. Okay. Let's see. Mark, I'm going to go to you after. I want to ask a couple of the people. I don't have my email up, so the names of who I'm supposed to be calling on didn't stick. I'm putting all the hands down real quick now. Again, even if you just raise it, I want to make sure I got everybody down. Do me a favor, raise your hand now if you'd like to speak. David Estrada, you're first. Unmuting David. We're making this switch to talking about success stories.
Right.
Hey, David, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? Quick question now. I just want to know about vendors now. I mean, when it comes to someone's property, like, something happening to someone's property and we're managing it, don't we have someone that we're paying the salary to, like, for the year to go there and fix it? Or do we just call different vendors? Like, whenever it happens?
It depends on the market. We usually have a vendor who does maintenance. We don't have employees of our own who do the maintenance. There may be exceptions to that. But my understanding, and I know the East Coast a little better because I was the East Coast VP for a little while here before Bob came. And there is our maintenance coordinators, whatever their actual title is in headquarters, contact the go-to person who's the one who goes out and does the fix. Okay, so you don't contact. So talk to your sales director to get clarity on this. But when you get pulled into a maintenance thing, any kind of an operational thing that is not your responsibility, you need to know the phone number. And that's when Dave Gorham sends me the email of how he goes and creates that momentum for a solution. He'll also give me the email that he sends his agents, which tells them, here's the phone number you call, here's what you say. So when Dave gives me that, I'll circulate that out.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave. All right. Hands are all back down again. Who wanted to speak up? We're making the shift now to success stories in sales. Who? Raise your hand. If I can unmute you, you can tell us one. Thomas. You tell me. Hang on a second. Unmuted right now. Hey, how you doing, Tom?
I'm good. How are you, Greg?
Is it? I see there's no H in Thomas. Does that mean you're Tomas, or do you go by Thomas?
That's right. Yep. No, Tomas. That's correct. Yes.
Tomas. Cool. All right. How are you?
Yeah. Thanks. So I guess here in Chicago, it's Renters Warehouse is kind of a sleeping giant, in my opinion. I'm going around with Mike Schumacher. He's another one of the active brokers here in Chicago. That's actively got listings and stuff like that, going to different investor meetings with me. And we're telling people, hey, this is Renters Warehouse. I mean, not a lot of people actually know what Renters Warehouse is here in Chicago, which tells me that it's a lot of up for grabs when we're going to these investor meetings. Different. We've got two organizations now that we plug into: Chicago RIA, and then now this Wolf Pack as well. Chicago RIA, at least with that place, we're just going there. We're making ourselves known to, they've got like 6,000 members in their chapters in the Chicago RIA. So we're just putting ourselves in front of the faces of these people in Chicago that, it's a big flip and sell market, but it's also, Chicago's the #1 rental city in America, with over 56% of our inhabitants are renters. So, I think, yeah, just and Mike says that going to these meetings, it's sort of like getting like 50 to 100 calls all at once, depending on how big a meeting yet you go to. There's some of these local chapters, they only have maybe like 20, 25 people there, which is great, because then you can get like 1 or 2 or 3 good customers from it.
Yeah, you talk to everybody, exactly.
Yeah, but then we go to these Oak Brook ones that are their main ones, and those, they're attracting, close to their, I'd hundreds to maybe even the thousands, depending on how,
Wow.
how busy people are. But yeah, I mean, we're just going to these meetings. Hernan's doing a good job too of giving us leads and putting us in front of people. So I think it just took finding the right people and finding some good mouths that can really sell well and can talk about and communicate well to investors. And now we've got some new agents that, for me, have been helping me rent a lot of places. I'm using a showing agent now with a new hire, so that I take my time away from the rental side. Not that I want to completely go away from it. I just want it to be more in a passive sense, where I'm not actually going to these showings anymore, and I can focus my time going to these large investor meetings to,
That's great.
get
So,
more.
tell me, give me an example. I think you emailed me an hour ago about the Wolfpack meeting. Was that right? That was you,
Yeah.
right? Tell us what happened with that. Give us an actual case study of what you did and how that worked out.
Well, they honestly just opened up the floor. They talked about like an actual deal that one of the people were going in there was doing, and it looked like a great deal that they were doing. So like I was actually impressed by, they were actually like talking like actual business that was going on in the market. So that was exciting to hear. And then they just opened up the floor, I guess, to anybody that wanted to, talk about their wholesaling or wanted to talk about their flip that they're doing or whatever service that they wanted to provide. And so when I heard that, I just immediately just jumped up and said, "Hey, yeah, me and Mike, we're here from Runner's Warehouse. What we do is we're $99 a month property management, because I know that here in Chicago, we're focusing on trying to go from the 450 doors that we're probably under management now up to 1,000. So we're really pushing for that 99 deal, just because with the rental prices that are here in Chicago, that $99 is not eating up a lot of these returns that some of these investors could be getting. So I'm just going up there. I'm saying, hey, it's Runner's Warehouse, and I tried to with that recruiting slide that you had last week with that kind of like pyramid sort of, when it was explaining the 3 sections. I try to explain that as much as I can to let people know that, yeah, we're Runner's Warehouse, and we're probably not going to be like any other beast that you find here in Chicago that's doing real estate, because we've got these three areas of expertise that we're doing.
The reaction, so what you're saying you did is
then
that
people just started asking questions. They're like asking questions about like, okay, so like what does this $99 entail? And basically we told them, hey, basically everything that a landlord doesn't want to do, we'll do for you. And so that just raised a lot of eyebrows. There was a couple of there's like 4 brokers in there too, that I even explained to them the $500, and I talked to 2 of them the day after that gave me their cards, and they're like, yeah, I mean, if you've got this $500 referral program that you guys are also offering to us brokers, to us licensees, he has mentors and trainees under his real estate investing business that he does with like wholesaling and flipping. But he says, I also work with a ton of people that probably have a need for your product, and if I have a chance to make $500 for each door, then yeah, I'm gonna go for it. So.
That's great. So I love this for like a lot of reasons, obviously. All right. Number one is you went to flipper meetings. The existence of investment meetings is a direct outgrowth of the fact that there's no professional for an investor to go talk to. Right? If they can come talk to somebody like an investment advisor and have a conversation about investing, they'd all be doing that, right? They might still be going to events, but events are so popular because if you're passionate about this, where else are you going to go to sort of express yourself and to learn and to engage your passion, right? So you showed up. They're mainly flippers, but there's a turn happening in the flipping world where more and more flippers are starting to realize they should be figuring out how to keep more of these houses. Like I ask flippers, my favorite question of flippers is, well, first of all, usually I pick on them saying you're doing real estate wrong, right? Which is a nice sort of provocative way to get somebody engaged, right? To kind of pick a fight with them. Say, you're crazy, right? What do you, capital gains and whatever. Well, what I say is you're doing real estate investing the unnatural way. It's an appreciating asset. You're selling it before it appreciates. It gets taxed as capital gains, and you're getting it taxed because you're doing a short-term flip as ordinary income. What's in your mind? You're crazy. You should be accumulating, right? And they say, bullshit, I made all this money. You know, I said, fine. How many flips do you do? I've done 300 flips. What if you had kept 30 of those? Huh. I would be in a different state financially. Exactly. So that's all I'm saying. Keep 10%, keep 20%, but you don't want to do property management. See, flippers don't do property management. They want to get out. One of the reasons why they need to get out is they don't have the systems. And so when you get in front of a group of flippers, these meetings are free or cheap. They give you the floor, as Tomas said, and let you speak, right? They are in a situation where their mindset is changing. Their business model is not as effective during a recovered real estate market like we have right now. Can't find as many great deals. So how do they shift accumulation? This is a conclusion many flippers are coming to all by themselves. And so when you get to stand up in a room full of flippers and say $100 a month or $99 a month, which is a low cost for property management, any place where the prices on the houses are, you know, above average. And Tomas got a chance to say something that nobody has ever stood up in that meeting and said, which is we're a property management company, investment company, full service. There were brokers in the room, so you guys maybe back off of the investment sales piece a little bit because you want to get those brokers to send you the business. Talking about $500 referral fee to send a property management customer, that's pretty generous, right? So point is, and congratulations. So Tomas, do you have any specific client or two that you've gotten as a result of these conversations you're having?
You know, honestly, no. I guess here in Chicago, like we've only been like recently having our face known to these investor meetings. I project that maybe once we actually launch in July with that ability to search with, you know, the million listings that we can do. I think once we do that and we can also pitch that to people, we'll be having some more conversations. But for now, I just want to say with the Wolfpack is great. The Chicago RIA is a little bit different because the guy that runs that investment club, Andrew Holmes, we're trying to get him to also spewed out Renter's Warehouse, and Noel actually with Hernan had a conversation with him, and so he kind of already knows about us. So it's just to we just need to get to the point where he's familiar with us enough and knows that we're not going anywhere. We're going to all his meetings, and he'll be, he's going to eventually have to kind of play with us a little bit and have to offer us just because we're going to be so important. Because what he teaches too is in 2 years own 5 rental properties, and in 7 years have all 5 of them paid off, and do that again. Do that for another 2 years and have 10. And so that's basically what he sells in his packages with Chicago RIA, which is great because that's the kind of people we want to find. And we want to say, okay, you want to do that strategy, have the experts of Renter's Warehouse also partner up with you on that.
Awesome. I love it. Well, listen, man, the fact that I would, for your sake, I would have rather you said you had 3 customers from it, but for everybody else's sake, there's not a slightest even little twinge of frustration or fatigue in your voice. And that shows that like you like this, you know it's going to work. That's the reason why you're excited about it. Yeah. You don't mind putting in the effort and the time. All right. It's going to pay off. You see it in their eyes. You see that you're walking into a room full of prospects and you're not getting rejection. You're not getting booed or thrown out, right? This is a different kind of sale. Different kind of sale. And other salespeople have a lot of competitors saying the same crap. This is different. Right? You have an opportunity to go out and say something enlightening to people. So congratulations that you're doing it. I know it's going to pay off. Keep me posted as you start seeing results. I'd love to have everybody follow along with your success. So maybe in a week or 2 or 3, when you land something as a result of this activity, you can share with us how it all played.
Yeah. And I'm closely working with Mike Schumacher. I'm going to give him a lot of credit too because I learned a lot from him, and him being an appraiser for 17 years and being in the business for a long time, and Hernan as well. I'm more just confident because I was been in Renter's Warehouse before they got started, and now that I see these 2 guys and a lot of the other guys on the team that really don't have time to mention, but they're, I see that there's definitely a turnaround in Chicago. So you'll be hearing from us for sure.
Awesome. Tomas, thank you. That's a great segue. I'm
Thank
going to go over to Mike Schumacher right now because he also had his hand raised. What's up, Mike?
How's it going?
Going good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I just wanted to piggyback on Tomas here. That I think in the past, 28 days or something like that, I've been to 4 investor meetings, and it's really, they're really kind of cliquish. They're really the same people over and over again. So so you really get a chance to get to know people. In one of the home investors meetings, I got a client that's got 14 properties, looking to see about possibly starting with 3 to manage. He's got 3 more that he's buying that he wants us to place somebody with. They're nice because some of them are small meetups, some of them are big meetups, but in general, there are often a lot of the same people going. So you get to know them pretty well.
And so I feel like I know you, even though we haven't met, because I've been watching your videos on YouTube, Mike. You want to share a little bit about what kind of results you've seen? I watched 2 videos today, and they were both a few minutes long. They both had maybe 30 or 50 views, so you're not, you're like me. You're putting things out there, and you're getting a few people to look, and that's nice. But what are you seeing over the time you've been doing this in terms of results from this?
So that's actually kind of like the meetup. I always use the example that I don't remember what I had for lunch last Thursday. And these people aren't going to remember me from one meeting or anything else like that. So if I explain something to somebody, I'll send them the video. And then they're like, oh, I get it. I get it because I can see it. I mean, I can tell them till I'm blue in the face that, Renters Warehouse is this nationwide investment property forum that, people can find properties. But when they see, you're actually pulling up, the like spread of the calculators and everything else like that. I think I made that one, I don't know, a month and a half, two months ago or something. And then you talk to them again, they're like, I get it. Okay. And I use that for, existing clients now when I tell them about it, to put their property on the market if they're putting it on. And that distinguishes you between, Remax and, Coldwell Banker. So that's helped out a lot.
That's cool. I'm trying to see if I still have that. I don't have that up right now. All right, I was going to try to share what you had done on that front. I think I've deleted
the investor marketplace. I think I did that at like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of dark.
Yeah. So what that was actually very cool. So everybody can just picture this real quick. What software did you use, by the way, to record that?
I would have to look. I forget.
All right, don't worry about it. It's not hard, guys. What he did is you record.
It's OBS Studio. It's a free screen capture.
Great. So you were able to. So basically, what these OBS Studio. And if you don't got that, guys, go to Google, search for screen capture software. Most of these nowadays have the ability for you to start recording. You then do whatever you want on your screen. You can turn on your camera. So it'll record what you're doing on your screen and the video from your camera and the audio. And then when you're done, what he did is he put his face up in the corner, right? So most of the screen was the actual website. His face is in the corner, and he did a demonstration. And that demo became a tool. So the reason I brought up, Mike, the fact that you only have like 50 views on the videos is I only have that on most of my videos. But I put out so many damn videos, and now I've got tens of thousands of views. Now we have one video that's at like 800,000 right now. So we're starting to get some serious traction. But I spent a lot of time just being happy with 35 views, 35 people. If somebody asked me to come and speak and 35 people are in the room, I'm all in on that, right? So 35, 6 views, 10 views. If you go look at my channel, you're going to see there's a lot of stuff out there that only a few people have consumed. Whatever, right? I know that this game, I am making my own reality TV show about real estate investing, right? Nobody has to watch. But if I'm good at it and I keep at it, I'm one video away from having somebody big like it, and then all of a sudden it takes off. So I'm taking all the at-bats that I can. I'm doing this, and my personality is coming through. I'm getting better and better at it. I like doing this on Fridays because the more I talk to you, the more comfortable I get talking about these things. I know I'm getting good at it. and I'm just improving myself, right? And I'm setting myself up to be a killer in this new category of online content creation and trying to build a following. So I like that you're doing it. I like that you don't care that it's basically becomes a tool. You put it out there, now you sling it out via email. It's hand-to-hand combat, and it's becoming.
I think I made that, I don't know, a month and a half ago, something like that. Just this morning, just for kicks, I posted it again on Twitter. So far in the past, I don't know, 3 hours, there's 809 impressions on it and 12 interactions on it. So you can just repost it on like the different mediums, and then you got tools there.
Exactly right. All right, cool, Mike. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And thanks for looking out for Tomas and helping him get rolling on this stuff too.
All right, thanks.
All right, man. Gee, I can't believe how 45 minutes flies by. Don Clemenson's got his hand. I can't not unmute Don. So Don, what's happening? You there? We can't hear you, Don. I see that you're unmuted here, but maybe on your end. All right. Sorry, bro. I got to mute you again. Didn't work. Anybody else out there? All right, good. All right, so that's exciting. Guys, it's exciting, all right? People are doing things. Make a commitment right now to yourself and to the rest of us that you're going to be on this call sometime soon, just talking about what you're doing. I love Tomas for talking about what he's doing even before it's producing income to him because he knows it's working. You can hear it in his voice. He could have as easily said to you, I've got 5 new customers. I was half expecting it given his level of enthusiasm. He doesn't have it yet, but there's no question that he's getting results. And they're going to come in if he keeps it up. All right, before we go to Mark Hansen, Ryan, make it real quick, buddy. Ryan Holden from Las Vegas. He's dying to share. What do you got, Ryan?
All right, so I've been doing the same thing Tomas and Mike's been doing and going to a lot of these RIAs, and he's right. There are a lot of people that that are the same, that go to all these things. And it's just sort of when you start getting into it and you think, what's the next step? So I was at a new one. I ran into some of the same people from some of the other ones. And I just said, what about if you guys just came to my office and did a little investor marketplace tutorial? They said, we would love that. I invited 2 guys. It's the first one we did, and 8 people showed up. So it was really successful, and it's a good, and then I had the captive 45 minutes to an hour with them alone. So it was really the next step when you get in there and you're getting to know there, you're creating your hierarchy in all these meetings. And then the next step is getting them into the office and getting them captive for your time only. So it's a good next step for what they're already doing.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. So the progression of go to their event and then invite them to your event. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
All right, man. All right. We got somebody else who looks eager to share. I can't say no. So Chris Mulhern is being unmuted right now. What's up, Chris?
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Well, yeah, we got iCore here in Colorado. We've been doing those groups. Not really getting a lot of leads as far as, closable deals, but I've been looking at other ways of reaching out. And kind of story here, iHomes is a brokerage here that's growing really fast in Colorado. And they had their anniversary party. Got invited by a buddy, went there, managed to actually talk to somebody's mom that's a broker, and we're going to get her home listed hopefully in about a week or 2 to find some tenants for her. So walked into a building full of brokers and walked away with a listing.
So that's so interesting, right? So you're in a room full of brokers, and they don't want to. The agent herself did not want to list her house for rent.
Well, her son's the agent. She was there for the anniversary party. Her son actually lived in the home and just moved out on the 15th of this month. I was there a few days ago just to check it out and inspect it. Sent out the documents yesterday for e-signature.
Awesome. So she knows her son better than anybody in the world, and she wanted to go to you to list her house.
Indeed.
That's awesome.
And then from there, I was able to meet with a lot of the people at iHomes. And what I'm trying to do now is set up lunches with brokerages and basically explain our realtor referral. Get face-to-face, because here in Colorado, we're a real face-to-face state. I mean, when you do a closing, everyone's at the closing.
Okay.
So, try to, basically get our name out there, let these people know. We'll give them $500 for every door. And hopefully get some more leads from there.
We're going to start. We have a program that Noel Christopher put together, and then he redirected his energies into portfolio sales. He's telling me in here that I need to remind you guys that when you come across somebody that has a lot of houses, you can bring that business in, refer it or share it with portfolio services, make a big commission. So he also worked on a thing called Referral Rock, which is a program that we're going to roll out that will allow you. It's just going to be a link you can use when you're promoting referrals to real estate people or anybody else, attorneys, accountants, that you can pay them the $500. I don't actually know if you could do it to accountants. I don't want to go astray of compliance, but point is, there's a system by which you can market that $500 referral program that we had not rolled out. That's mostly my fault because I wanted all the energy focused on the stuff that I'm in charge of. So no, I spoke to Kelsey about it yesterday, and she wants to get it going. So we will at last get that thing going. It can only go to real estate agents. Okay, thank you. So it can't go to accounts, but it can go to attorneys because I think in every state an attorney gets a real estate license along with their attorney's license. So, all right, let's make the jump. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right, where is Mark Hansen, our special guest? I think I told you that I was going to get to you in like 10 minutes after the hour.
Sure.
Now,
Yeah.
after the next hour. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Last time I had you on, bro, I had a funny picture of you, so I went and found a very good one. I know that you're in the real estate business now. You know how I know that?
How's it that?
Because you have a headshot that's like 10 years old.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
A very handsome picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to put your camera on?
Yeah. What's that?
Can you put your camera on?
Probably.
I mean, he does look like this, but this is one of those.
All I can see is you. I can't see anything else, so I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Okay.
Picture wise.
Am I not showing my screen right now? Have I not been showing my screen the whole time?
I haven't seen anything, but.
Oh, shit, I've been showing you guys slides and everything the whole time. All right, well, here is.
Yeah, okay.
I had slides up during the rest of the presentation with some words backing up what I was saying, so my bad. Anyway, can you share your face, Mark?
I don't see where that is.
There's like a little movie camera icon someplace on your thing. Maybe not. Maybe you can't. All right, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. So sorry about me not showing the slides, but it's okay. Mark Hansen, you all know, sales director, Minneapolis, the flagship office. You told me something when I saw you yesterday, the day before, Minnesota, about the Plan B. Can you share with everybody what that's all about?
Yeah, we've been working with the agents when they get a lead for a rental analysis. After they do the house tour, they're sitting at the kitchen table and they start some of those discovery questions like, what led you to give us a call? What are you looking to do? Those types of things. One of the questions I've been encouraging them to ask is, just out of curiosity, if you decide not to rent this property, what does your Plan B look like? And I think you said, was it yesterday or the day before? As long as they're leaving the house, and usually the Plan B is, well, I guess if I don't rent it, I'd probably sell it. Either way, as long as they're leaving the house, we can monetize it. So a lot of the agents on my team have not had experience with buy sell in the past. So I think it's kind of a scary question for them to open that can of worms and ask that question. So what I've been instructing them to do is say, what does that Plan B look like? Would you be selling it? And if they say yes, just say, good to know. Just so you know, I can help you with that as well. I came here today to kind of take you down the road of what it would look like if we rent this for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever the case may be. But after this appointment, what do you say? I'll go back to my office, I'll do some research. And really what I want them to do at that point is to come find me. And then we can put together a CMA and talk about what the financial picture looks like at the closing table, maybe 2 months from now. I can go with them to that appointment with my experience, and we can kind of present both options and see which one makes the most sense for them. So it's a way to kind of get into that buy-sell world, but not exposing your maybe lack of expertise that you're hopefully trying to acquire here quickly.
That's awesome. So here's why I love that. And I'm sorry I didn't leave us enough time, Mark, but we'll have you on again as soon as you want to. I love this because, number one, you're letting people know that you are the full service, right? So like plan A is to rent it out. You think you might want to do that. What would plan B be? Well, then I would probably sell the house. Plan C is unacceptable. Plan C is they stay there, which we can't monetize, so they can't do that. So plan A or plan B, I do both. Let's stay focused on plan A, but just be aware that if you decide, and you said something last time we talked about this that I also loved, which was when the first time they bring the sales director out with them and do a CMA, the second or third time they're going to be fine, ready to go. And I think a lot of advisors will crank out their rental price analysis. They'll crank out a CMA for value at the same time, have it in their briefcase if it wants to come out. If they say, let's talk about plan B. But they can actually pursue plan A and plan B simultaneously. Like if they want to get $2,000 a month in rents, but you don't think it's going to go there, you could say, well, like, look, if you don't really care which way it goes, that if you get $2,000 a month in rent, you're definitely going to rent it. But if you can't get $2,000 a month in rent, you're definitely going to sell it. You could actually put a property on in most places simultaneously for rent and for sale, right? In fact, you definitely can put it on for rent with Renters Warehouse and then for sale in the MLS. Some MLSs won't allow you to do both in the MLS, but fine. We don't use the MLS to market rentals anyway. But it just illustrates the fact that you are a resourceful person, right? You've got options for them that fit into their needs right now in a way that when somebody else is a sales agent, somebody else is a rental agent, and you're one and the same, that just made you superior in a tangible way. So I thought it was great. I love the way you put it too. Like I love the good to know. I don't use that line. I'm going to start working that into my vernacular because the whole, like good to know. Like there's no conclusion being drawn here. Like I don't have to have another thing to say. Like, so you think you want to sell your house? Oh man, I don't know how to do a CMA yet. So, you might want to sell it. Good to know. Let me go back and do some research for you, and then we'll take that option when the time comes. I thought it was brilliant. So, anything else you want to say before we jump?
No, I'm good.
All right. Hey, thanks for doing what you're doing, man. You're doing a beautiful job showing us all the way of what happens. I think you've added 11 people to your roster in the last 3 months.
Right.
Yeah. So I saw them all yesterday in your training class, and they're eager and they're excited. And your branch does what, $10-12 million a year in revenue, and it's the flagship. Do I have that? Am I short on that? Is it 15? It's in that range.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we're trying to show the whole world that Renters Warehouse is capable of having a powerhouse like this, and so that every other office makes their way, to 2 million, to 5 million, to 10 million, and every one of our branches are doing that kind of volume. And here's what you need to know as an advisor: when you are a real estate agent in a branch office that does $2 million, that eventually does 10 million, your income probably tripled during that period of time. Okay, because the office gets more resourceful. All right, we're going to be doing events across the country in every market as the months go by. You're going to have a bigger and bigger book of business, and that whole cascade of sale, rental commissions, another sale, rental commissions, another sale, rental commissions, another customer, repeat. You guys are going to build big, beautiful, very lucrative books of business that are very valuable, and are going to help you build a really valuable portfolio for yourself. So I think that's it, guys. We're over. Thank you for hanging in with me. It looks like almost everybody did. Have a wonderful weekend. Go kick some butt. We have another stretch before the end of the month. Go grind it out for me, all right? Do it for yourself. Do it for me. Do it for the company. Go find a customer you weren't otherwise going to find because of sheer force of will and effort, and help us make those numbers, all right? Happy weekend. See you later.